are here and live on The Real Raw. It feels like almost our 100th episode. I know we're in the high 90s. Don't want to say it's our 100th without being fully in integrity, but we're definitely up there. And today is no different. We have two amazing contestants that are going to go head to head, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to have some fun. But what's definitely going to be present is that influence is a superpower, is going to be present in our conversation, and we're going to display how we can teach it as well. And for everyone coming in that has never seen a Real Raw, let's explain what these next 60 minutes together are going to look like. First, we're going to spend the first half getting to know each other, building rapport, showing what it looks like to truly build emotional rapport in this world of virtual. And we have some background noise. And what we're going to be doing after that, through the background noise, is we're going to have our influence off, where Ruby and Steven are going to have 2 rounds of 3 minutes to go from hello to yes on something that is meaningful for them, like a meeting, or to watch a video, or to maybe buy a product or service, have an investment, donate to a cause, whatever is meaningful for them. And now, the hostess with the mostest, who is wearing blue because he felt like switching up his energy, or at least that's what I'm going to say for now. The guy with the clean cut, Sean Callaghy. What's up, man?
Hey guys, super grateful. Steve, Ruby, thank you so much for your courage, vulnerability, being here. And yes, we're unlocking influence as a superpower, and that's what's present. So let's rock and roll. Steve, how are you today?
So far, so good. But, you know, the day is still young.
Right. And so, you know, what are you up to in the world, and what brought you here today?
Well, we're just changing the world one foot at a time. All these shoes behind me, I'm the CEO of ZeroShoes.com. The simple way I like to describe what we do is by asking people, do your feet feel better at the end of the day than they did at the beginning of the day? And if the answer is no, it's not because of something wrong with you or your feet. It's because you haven't been wearing shoes that let your feet do what's natural, bend and flex and move and feel. And so we've got a few 100,000 people around the world who've experienced the fun and benefits of natural movement by wearing our shoes. And we're here. I'm here to have fun. Tony said, Rodriguez said, I got to be here, and that's all I know. And here we are.
All right, Steve. Well, thanks so much for being here. And where physically are you in the world today?
Between Boulder and Denver, Colorado.
Amazing. Final is a fun fact, if you wouldn't mind sharing. What's a fun fact?
I made a living for 5 years by walking on broken glass on my bare feet.
No way!
What?
And where did you? That's like they like changes the whole energy. Like where did you do this? Like yes, you're like a complete tycoon and successful and wonderful, of course. But like way more importantly, you walked on glass for 5 years. So like where'd you do that?
Yeah, pretty much up and down the East Coast. So I was a street performer, DC, Virginia, North Carolina, New York City is where I spent most of my time when I was doing that. Boston, that was the gist of it.
Amazing. Well, congratulations that your feet intact.
Totally fine.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Steve, and welcome.
Thanks.
So, and Fernando, we have an amazing additional person. Ruby,
yes.
How are you?
Hi, I am doing great. I am super excited. Thank you so much for having me. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm super nervous.
I don't even know if there's anything like this. So what is the
I don't think there is.
So please don't be nervous. We're just here to have fun and, you know, just really educate, enlighten, and connect. So thank you so much. But what do you think this is actually? This is fun. So what do you think?
Yeah, so no, I'm, you know, I am nervous, but it's exciting at the same time. And I think this is an opportunity to learn and to grow in my skill set, you know, and to work together. And the people that are watching can help learn and grow as well in how they communicate what their purpose is or what their goal is of what they're trying to achieve in life.
Yeah, and how deeply we connect as well. So, and Ruby, what are you up to in the world?
So I'm an actor. I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm also an energetic healer and an intuitive coach, and an empowerment coach. So I help people learn the truth of who they really are and really embody and know that they are the creators of their reality.
Oh, that's beautiful. And where did you get started on your journey of awareness, enlightenment?
So I've been doing this for a long, long, long time. I've been on this journey for years. It's been And you know, I went on this whole, like, I think it started with hypnotherapy, and then, you know, the movie The Secret and all of that. And I went down this journey of like manifestation and, you know, thoughts become things and all of this, and live in your happiness and follow your bliss. And I did that for so long. And then until I realized that I was doing that within a cage that I had created for myself.
Oh. And what was that cage, if I could ask?
giving my power away and not knowing that I had given it away and said that it was okay for others to control me in certain ways.
That's awesome.
Because I found my happiness within that.
That is awesome.
But it wasn't entirely freedom until I, you know, broke out of the cage and realized that it's this knowing that the law of attraction is true, but knowing also that our ego is really, really strong. And sometimes when you go down this spiritual path, then it becomes a spiritual ego.
Do you know JP Sears?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So JP, you've seen JP's video on competitive spirituality?
I've seen a lot. Which one is this one?
It's very funny, and it's on the transition from traditional religion to spirituality. And he is bringing forth the irony of how folks would leave behind dogmatic, rigid principles of traditional religion to find dogmatic, rigid principles of spirituality, claiming there's moral high ground in it. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I love his videos, and I love the way that he delivers things through comedy, but it's so true. You know, and then when you do that, you're still giving your power away to something else that you believe to be better than you.
Yeah. And he was, this past weekend, I saw him perform at Tony Robbins' house.
Tony Robbins' house. I heard he was there.
He was. And I had the privilege of being there, and it was remarkable. And to your point, I think sometimes, right, for all of us, I'm curious of how you would assess this statement, that we can, in the confines of things that we hold dearest and tightest and would believe about ourselves, we can find our way into exactly the cage you talked about. So for me, a huge breakthrough that I went through this weekend was realizing how much I was judging. I'm like against judging, and I was judging people who judge. But I was also beginning to find that I was judging people and how they related to alcohol, how they related to like what I perceive to be lower vibrational activity. So yeah, like we can really have these principles that we would hold dear to us, and then we can become exactly what we're saying we're, opposed to. So we had a long, a beautiful convention with Tony and Sage about, and this is for me directly, about like what we resist persists and how it grows. So yes, I honor your journey of how you're relating to on a much deeper level of clarity around principles like the law of attraction, because I would agree. I think that there's amazing traps in the space of personal development wrapped around our ego. So thank you for reminding all of us of that, Ruby.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's really beautiful. It's so true. It's the judgments that we hold that we think are actually good judgments are serving us. We don't realize they're actually holding us back from our own growth as well.
And I think as we look in the world today, and this is not a political statement, this is a statement about truth, not aligning with any side about anything. It's this like desire and battle for moral high grounds. When if you really think about it, I think most Americans agree on about 98% of things. And we find the 2% of things that we disagree about, and we go crazy and vilify. So my heart, my truth, unblinded is very much in part, or certainly very much about unlocking that truth and eliminating judgment and coming up with the reality of how aligned we actually are, and to stop letting forces like the media divide us. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What else is up, brother?
Well, Sean, your ability to flow and pitch and catch is felt, appreciated, and acknowledged. And we have our judges here. So let's jump in to judge number 1. We have Nita Koon-Demont. I hope I said that right, Nita. Please correct me if I was wrong. She is an immigrant of Indian origin born in Sri Lanka. She is licensed to practice law in New York and New Jersey for the last 18 years and admitted to the United States Supreme Court. Currently, solo practitioners handling immigration law cases across the United States, helping immigrants in, how she would say, paving the pathway to the American dream. She enjoys traveling, playing cards, games, and Scrabble, and other word games. Welcome, Nita.
Thank you. Well, nice to be here. Thank you.
Nita, welcome. And what's a fun fact about Nita?
That was the Scrabble I threw in this time that I like to play at 1 o'clock in the morning till 2 until I fall asleep. I'll be falling asleep, but I can stay awake to play Scrabble.
And what's your favorite card game?
It's rummy. It's an what Indians play. It's like 27 cards. You can't even hold them. But it's a version of rummy that's very interesting to me.
Oh, very, very cool, Nita.
Happy to teach anyone who wants to play rummy with me.
Excellent. We will have a rummy Scrabble tournament. Like, let's mix Scrabble and rummy till 2 a.m. Going crazy. Like, we're having fun. Thank you,
Sounds
Nita.
like my type of party.
Yes. All right, Fernando, who else what other wonderful guests do we have here?
Beautiful. We continue with our next judge, Kathy McDougall. Thank you for Lorelei for this amazing connection. She is the CEO of the Growth Company and loves helping marginalized people gain financial stability and independence. She has spent 20 years in community development, serving as the member director and executive director of several chambers of commerce, and her greatest joy was being able to provide jobs for people who would otherwise have no way of being self-sufficient. Kathy has 2 master's degrees in tourism and entertainment business. She enjoys time with her family in Missouri, and she is regularly seen volunteering and helping small businesses and non-profits go. Kathy, how are you?
Help! I'm great, guys. How are you? It's Roleplay.
I think we're having a little internet issue with Kathy.
Oh, I never know if it's me or the person. So yeah, Kathy, we were feeling your energy and you got a little cut off. You want to try one more time?
Oh, no, it's just that it's an honor to be here. I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Well, Kathy, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. What's a quick fun fact?
Oh, wow. Oh, Hulk Hogan once ran into me in a restaurant and said, 6'2", eyes of blue. And I looked at him and said, no green, and walked away.
That is amazing. Kathy dropping the mic.
Awesome. And our final judge here today, our final assessor, Karen Canfield. Man, I've been looking forward to seeing your name again. She's an avid life coach, mompreneur, and ecosystem merger enthusiast. Passionate healing resource connector for survivors of traumatic brain injury and other acquired disabilities after her young adult son's severe TBI 2 years ago. She's obsessed with mental wellness. She's a wellness advocate and educator, and after overcoming 33 years of depression and anxiety without any medication. Welcome, Karen Canfield.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Karen, thank you so much for being here.
It is a great place to be, especially as a judge and not as a contestant.
Do you prefer this seat?
Today I do, yes. I actually did a practice as a contestant last week, and this is much more comfortable at the moment.
Oh, amazing. And Karen, where are you coming from today?
I'm in Orem, Utah.
Oh, wow. We have a beautiful diversity in the mix of fine folks today. And what's a quick fun fact?
Let's see, I am 5'2.5", and my husband and sons are all about 6 foot, and I can walk way faster than any of them. They cannot keep up with me.
That is a very fun fact. Welcome. And Ruby, I think we skipped a fun fact with you. Can we have a fun fact?
What's a fun fact? I actually really enjoy reading books on top of the highest tree.
Like literally?
Like literally climbing trees and sitting up there and reading books.
All right. So Ruby has taken high ground in coolness in the competitive spirituality, competitive coolness space. Ruby is winning. So thank you very much. Amazing. So Fernando, let's drop in, brother. Can you explain what we're about to do?
Yes. So let's drop in. So as we shared before, this is what's going to happen. Sean is going to, as I turn on my video here, Sean is going to ask one of you fine contestants to choose a number. The options are going to be number 1 or number 2, and that is going to decide who will go first and who will go second. What's going to happen, as we said, we're going to split up and have 6 minutes total. We'll have 2 rounds of 3. The first round, you have 3 minutes to role play with myself, and I will be whatever you want me to be. I can be Amanda, I can be Jason, I can be your ideal customer. We can know each other, we can not know each other. And we're gonna go from hello to yes in 2 rounds of 3. The first 3-minute round, we're gonna focus on 2 areas of going from hello to yes with another individual. Number 1 is building emotional rapport. And number 2 is going through pain and yes strategy. We will then end, our judges will share some words, give a score, and then we'll go on to our second round. In our second round of 3 minutes, we're gonna go through the final 2 steps of the hello to yes formula, which is conveying your heroic unique identity. Like I read books on top of trees is an interesting identity fact. And then we're going to step into where transformation truly happens, which is agreement formation. We're looking for a yes. And that yes can mean a lot of things. It can mean buying a home. It can mean being my friend. It can be being my girlfriend. It can mean buying my product, buying my book, watching my course, whatever that is for you. So Sean, I'll kick it over to you. Who is going to be choosing the number today, Ruby and or Stephen?
Let's go with Ruby. I think she's from further away. So Ruby, I have a 1 or a 2 under the desk. What do you think it is?
2.
It is a 1 today. I've been switching it up a little bit because it was a lot of 2s and we were having that tracking happen. So Steve, you get to choose first or second in round 1.
I'm going to choose second.
Okay, so Ruby, who would you like Fernando to be?
Okay, so we met at a super casual networking event, and we talked a little bit about who we are and what we do. And I told you that I am an energetic healer, an intuitive healer, and a coach. And you seemed intrigued and wanted to know more. So I gave you my card and reached out and told you to reach out if you ever needed anything or needed to talk.
Awesome. So I am calling you, correct?
Yes.
And you're going to hear an alarm go off at 2 minutes, like with 1 minute to go, with 30 seconds to go, and done. So 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, and then done. And Ruby, take us in.
So 3 alarms.
Say again?
3 alarms. 1, 2, and
correct.
3.
1 minute, 30 seconds, third alarm is done, and I'm just going to stop talking. So Ruby, I'm calling you. Ready? Clark starts now. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Hi, Ruby. Am I catching you at a good time?
Yeah, no, it's good. Fernando, I recognized your voice right away. I'm so happy you called. How are you?
Well, thank you so much. I was hoping you'd remember the voice. I'm good. It is a beautiful, fun Friday. I know we spoke last week. I'm giving you a quick call as I transition over to the train. But I was like super curious from our last conversation and just wanted to check in.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for calling. I kind of had a feeling that you would call, actually. Yeah, so what I do is, I help people, give them tools that I have learned that have worked for myself. If you're open to it, I can give you a quick little chat of what I do with people that I coach. Would you be open and willing to talk about that? I know you have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I feel like we may need some more time, but I definitely am curious on just everything you mentioned on energy work. And I wasn't even sure exactly, how your coaching went. So please, elaborate.
Okay, so would you say that you feel that you're balanced, heart, mind, and soul in your body at the moment? Like, are you truly happy living your life the way you are and what you're seeing reflected to you?
Define balance, because some days I feel like I'm running through walls and some days I feel like I'm skiing on the Alps. So maybe.
Okay, so having those feelings, are you happy in both moments, or do you know both moments are serving you, or do you feel like you would like more control over those moments?
I definitely feel like the moments are serving me. Am I happy through all of them? No, I would go with not happy with through all of them.
Okay, so if there's like one main change you wanted to affect in your life right now, what would it be? Would you like to learn how to navigate those moments with more ease?
Yeah, kind of flowing, being less in rush energy. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Being in flow really does allow you to live your life with more ease and not feel like you're being rushed all the time, right? Like you're calling me now and you're in a rush. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. So you are interested in learning how to balance your life a little bit more, how to have more ease, or maybe not feel so much of the tug between that push and pull with time.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting tug of war. Usually feel like I'm tugging and warring with myself. It'd be great to maybe not feel that all the time.
I hear you. Yeah, to feel like you have maybe a little bit more control over that. Have you ever worked with any other coaches in this area of your life?
Yeah, well, actually in this area of my life, no. Coaches, yes. And man, I can like see the train in front of me, but I have not worked with another coach in this area.
Okay. So for me, it's really important that our energies match and that you feel comfortable. So I would want to know that you do feel comfortable talking with, I know it's been a really short conversation, but I would ask my clients to be really open to hearing what I have to say and seeing, of course, if it resonates with you, right? Because your truth is your truth and not everything I say has to resonate with You.
Well, I'll do this. As soon as I get to my stop, I got 3 more minutes. I'm going to give you a call back. Thank you, Ruby.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Excellent job, Ruby. And let's drop in with our judges, starting with Nita.
So, Ruby, that was a very nice service and coaching product that you have to sell. However, you missed building the necessary emotional rapport right up front. So you went very quickly to start to ask questions that were pertinent to the service that you were selling, but you could have asked a little bit more about him because you know nothing about him. So if you would have asked some personal questions, just a little something to break the ice that you've shown personal interest in him before pitching or selling your product. Other than that, was very nice. You had nice energy, and you made the point that you want to make sure that the energies match, or that you wanted him to be open with you, but you rushed that. So that was my observation.
Okay, and what'd you have for a score, Nita?
A 7.
Excellent.
A six, I'm sorry, a 6, because that was a big component that was missed.
Awesome. Okay, judges, also, we're going to about 40 seconds of feedback. So 20 seconds on what you thought worked, 20 seconds on what could be optimized. And Kathy, what do you have? 10, 35.
Sorry.
There you are.
Great energy, great pacing and tonality. I absolutely agree with Nita. I thought you jumped into product and service and what you did way too fast. So it made it a little awkward. And even when you were pitching, you could have asked more questions of him. You could have dug a little bit deeper, even if you were going there. So I would agree with Nita. I gave you a 6 as well.
Okay. And how about Karen? What do you have?
I agree with the other judges. The rapport opportunity was missed. Probably one of the best things, besides asking more open-ended questions, you asked a lot of closed-ended, so you weren't able to actually draw out as much information from Fernando. And a lot of what you were doing was focusing on I and me, which takes that rapport building opportunity away. And so if you can rephrase some of those questions, looking at, what have you done in the past? You did do some of that, but then you put it in a closed question. So ask more open-ended questions and rephrase so it's not I and me, it's more about Fernando.
All right, excellent. And a score?
I would give a 6.
Okay, and we'll unpack that a little bit in a little bit. Steve, are you ready, sir?
Only to the extent that I'm willing to jump in, even though it seems like there's a framework for what we're talking about that I know nothing about. So I'm happy to jump in and we'll see where the hell that goes.
Yeah, so Steve, just all we're really doing is what a normal interaction with a person would look like. You don't have to get to a sale. You don't have to get to
Do I have to be a person in that equation then?
I'm sorry?
Do I have to be a person in that equation then?
You do, because the differential would be, like, what we're doing is human dynamics of interaction.
No, I was just teasing when you said it's a normal conversation with a person. I was just asking if I had to be the person. That's all.
Well, you don't have to be, for sure. What we're really doing is, and it could be anything, like strategic.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I got an idea.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. So, Steven, who am I?
Let's say that you're a very big deal influencer.
Cool. Right, and we know each other. We don't know each other.
We have not met.
Awesome. And
I'm trying to think of whether we want it to be that, I'm reaching out to you or you've heard of what we're doing. Flip a coin. You can decide which one.
All right. Boom. You are reaching out to me.
Awesome. All right. Whenever you're ready, let's have some fun.
All right. Timer starts now. Hit the phone.
Well, first of all, Fernando, is now a bad time to talk?
Steven, it's not a bad time. I just unfortunately only have 3 minutes, and I don't want you to feel rushed. I can call you back briefly right after, but we got about 3 minutes right now.
Perfect. I can work with 3 minutes because I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not going to try and sell you on anything. I know you probably get pitched all day, every day. So I'm definitely not heading in that direction, especially in 3 minutes. Is that going to be a problem?
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you. Wasn't even expecting you to, but definitely appreciate it.
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure that we know that it's not going to happen that way. And again, all I've seen is your public persona. So I don't even know, do you have a family? Do you have kids? Where do you live? I mean, can you give me just anything so I know who the hell I'm talking to?
Yeah. Well, besides that, you're talking to a guy with a yellow shirt. I do live in Wyoming. I'm blessed to have a wife and 2 kids. I've been with my wife for over 10 years. It's a beautiful marriage, and I might not show them more often on my online presence because I like to keep the sanctity of my family private.
Well, that's a really interesting thing. So how does what you're doing publicly relate to your family and what you're trying to accomplish both publicly and personally? That's an interesting interaction where you're trying to keep them separate.
If I could be, great distinction. Actually, they're more correlated than anything. I couldn't even accomplish everything that I'm doing publicly if it was not for my wife. So the fact that she is beyond supportive, beyond the foundation, beyond a rock, that she allows me to travel, communicate, be around so many people, they're definitely not separate. And if I'm being even more honest, my wife is the one that asked to be private. If it were up to me, I'd be taking selfies with her all the time.
Yeah, I've had just a similar thing where I'm sort of the public face of the company and my wife tries to stay in the background as much as she can, even though she's way better looking than I am and really should be up here.
I get it.
Oh, so wait, were you just calling me ugly? Did I get that right?
I was saying that the chances are that your wife is extremely beautiful.
Well, it's true. The problem is there's all these pictures on our house of the hot chick and the guy standing next to her, but I've learned to deal with it over the years. So, sorry, did you say kid or kids, plural?
Kids. I'm actually blessed with a daughter and a son.
Oh, sweet. How old?
My daughter is 5 and my son is 2.
So I don't have kids, so I'm just kind of curious about this one. I love when people do. Like, how can you talk to me about just how what you're doing publicly again both relates to them? Like, what are you trying to either teach them or provide for them? Because as someone who's just sort of on his own, that's not the way I think. And I'm always curious how people who have a big public persona deal with that, because you don't want them to get spoiled by it. But I'm sure there's some interesting things in there that I don't know.
I hope to God they don't end up spoiled. I hope to God that my family and mom and dad taught me, great morals and values. And honestly, for now, in the least amount of words, I wish we had more time to chat. I want to be a beacon of possibility. I'm creating something in the world, and if they want to run in my footsteps, great. If they want to run left or right, I'm okay with that also. I just want to let them know and show them that whatever they want to do is possible, and that if crazy dad can do it, they can do it too.
That's so funny. When Lane and I don't have kids, but I think all the crazy stuff that I do, I can't imagine what it would be like to bring them up sane with all the insanity that I do. I imagine, because you're a very high energy guy. I don't know if they're like you or they're more like tame, but I imagine that's an interesting dynamic too.
They make me look like a snail. Dude, they have more energy, like 5 times more energy than I do. So listen, I would love to call you back. Give me a few minutes. I actually have them knocking at the door right now. I'll get back in a few. Thank you, Stephen.
Awesome. Looking forward to us next.
All right. Excellent work, Stephen. Super high congruence, and let's drop in with the judges. Let's start with Karen this round.
Okay. I think your energy was fantastic, Stephen. You had really good flow. Starting out at the beginning, let's see. You asked for some permission from Fernando about establishing things. Is it okay? Do you have time? One thing I would switch up on that, you started with, is now a bad time to talk to you? You could change that energy considerably if you started out with, is this a good time to talk? Because if you introduce a negative, then it's like, oh, do I have a way out? How fast can I get out of this conversation? So just consider that. I think you did great with a lot of open-ended questions. And you were able to establish some good rapport because you got a laugh out of Fernando, and then later on you were able to get him telling a story that caused you to laugh. So that energy was really phenomenal. The one question was, where are you going with this? What is the kind of question that you're getting to? And so just wondered, the last few 20 seconds or something, maybe start pointing it in the direction that you want to have a continuing conversation with Fernando to actually get to your pitch without shoving it down his throat. And I would give you a 7.5.
It's that 0.5. That's what I was looking for.
Kathy, what do you have?
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Great energy. Obviously, I love that you smile, even though you can hear your smile, even if I couldn't see it. So that was terrific. I thought the beginning was very awkward. And again, kind of to the negative point, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not going to try to pitch you on anything, especially with 3 minutes. It kind of put you in a weaker position, even starting the call. So, take the lead, build the rapport. And I thought it was a little bit overly friendly, in the sense that if we're trying to do business, you want to be the leader. You want to stay in control and be the leader. You don't necessarily want to be a friend. Be friendly, but not the friend. So I would give it a 6 as well.
All right. And Nita?
Yes. So, Stephen, I a lot of great energy. I saw you smiling. That comes through. I agree with both Karen and Kathy. In terms of, sorry, one second. With their comments, the more, so yes, the start while you were trying to build rapport was great, but you started with a negative way of trying to build energy that was bad, and this was sad. I think the thing I want to point out is that you asked for permission up front, but once you started to talk about his personal life and his private life, you actually didn't ask permission to go in there anymore. You just went ahead and asked that question. I thought, if anything, to ask permission, that was the time to do it. Do you mind? Can we talk about it? And he happened to be open, but somebody else might shut you up, because that's Fernando. But somebody else might have shut you down earlier. I thought that. And I thought you brought yourself in a little too much. And I have to say that, understanding Sean's formula, in the beginning, it's very little about you. You get the chance to talk about yourself later, but you were making his thing about you, taking away from time to talk to him about where you wanted to go. And then I agree, Kat, you didn't seem to be wanting to talk about whatever it is you want to sell to him or not. I thought that the whole question about selling and negating that upfront was just way too early. So I'm going to give you a 6.5.
Okay. So Steve, Ruby, thank you, judges, Nita, Kathy, Karen. I'll share my perspective briefly. So I thought, Steve, your congruence, connectivity was phenomenal. Your energy, tremendous. Is such a natural flow of energy that you have between people, and I'm sure that's why you've been so successful. And I actually liked your upfront pre-frame of like not pitching, selling. I thought it pops the energy of like that there's sales in the air. So we could always have micro distinctions on how to do that, but I like the popping of the energy of sales is not in the air and you're leaning in. I would say if I had one access point, there was a moment when Fernando mentioned something about his family and like desire to keep apart. And you absolutely asked the question. I think there was like an empathy increase could have been present there, just a little bit empathy increase. And that note could have I think even opened up. It was a beautiful connection. And I think what we speak about, in terms of influence is like those small things that make exponentially different dynamics, like the difference between somebody liking somebody and loving somebody. Loving somebody and being like, this person can't, I just have to talk to them, like those micro distinctions. And I think when that happened in that moment, it was like, wow, like, it sounds like there's something present for you. Like, well, it sounds like something's up there. Like, what's up? Just a short question, like leaning into like, what's there? Cause I'm guessing in a space like that, there's a lot. Could be that there's tension with his wife, tension with the kid, like just a little bit of empathy, like openness could like volcanically open a depth of emotion. But I thought you did a great job. So thank you. And for your courage and vulnerability. Thank you. Ruby, same thing. Your energy is infectious. I felt like wanting to know more. And I think, and I agree with the judges at the same time, that there's structurally some things that could be ironed out a little bit differently. So like that same energy of you can come so beautifully through, as they said, some open-ended questions, like really just opening the access, because your energy is like so resonant, and it's so present. And I think that just like really sitting, we often talk about in short, because this is different for a lot of people. We don't usually have a short run interaction, but as Steve noted, like sometimes you might meet the influencer that's the next person, a super celebrity that he wants to connect with and make something happen with. And at 3 minutes, it's like, what can he do in the land of never ending people asking for things to stand out like magically? It's like, wow, like I want to know that person. Like that person's congruently unique, truly. Sense their heart, I sense their energy. And wow, in this land of like nonstop takers, there's something present here. Like, how do we create that? And I'm really confident that we create that through the vocal qualities, the tonality, the energy of it. and that's present for you. And then if we, in that 3 minutes, we just need to say, hey, by the way, like the work that I do is ... like 2 sentences. Hey, would it be okay if we chat a little bit more, sometime in the near future? So we can really create our identity through our listening. And Oprah said it, like, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me, is what Oprah claimed in her final episode is why 30,000 people went through that show. And she became a multi-billionaire instead of a person that had a 5-year run or a 1-year run or, just missed getting a show. So I think it's in the space of these micro distinctions. So Ruby, thank you for your performance in round 1.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting. That was really fun. This is completely new for me. And I noticed that I went straight into the questions, and that's not normally what I do. So then I started questioning why I was doing it different than what I normally do. And then I was like, I have 3 minutes. And then I was like, wait, what is happening right now?
Well, part of the reason you're doing it
in my head.
Part of the reason you're doing it differently is because a bunch of people are watching you and judging you. So like, yeah, it creates that dynamic. But like if we could do it here, we could do it everywhere. And one of the other dynamics is we never really get the feedback of how we show up, even if this is not authentic. And part of what I did, say, let's all just breathe. And in round 2, just have fun and be yourself completely. And because we don't get the feedback on how we show up. And having feedback on how we show up matters, because influence is what dictates our results. Influence and where we put it and what we do with it, right? So yeah, thank you. In round 2, Ruby, it's your choice. Would you like to go first or second?
I would like to start over, please.
You could do whatever you like. Would you like to go first? You want to go first or second?
Okay, so my question now is, because I did kind of work as like in the context of this game, I want to use this as the biggest learning platform for me, which is what's happening. But so now in the second call, I guess let's just do it.
You could get out of I offer you the opportunity to step out of your head into your heart, into your body, and to say it could be just a second phone call, right? A big part of influence is being in our body. Right, on our head, right? Feeling our heart, feeling our body. So in your body, from that place, right? It could be a second call. You learned a bunch of stuff. Say, hey, you know what? I didn't even ask you that. Like you could step in wherever you like. Just relax and have fun. Okay. So take it away, Ruby.
Okay.
Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Ruby, I'm giving you a call back. How are you?
I'm doing great, Fernando. Thank you so much for calling me back. How was your train ride? You were in a rush. Did you get to where you needed to go on time?
Yeah, I am on time. I feel a lot less rushed now, thank God. Running through a crowd with like a backpack full of stuff and like trying not to miss the door had me a little nervous. So sorry if I gave you any rush energy on that one.
No, that's totally okay. I understand. I have those moments too when I'm rushing. So I totally get it. But I'm glad that you made it on time. Listen, so the previous phone call was really rushed and I might have rushed into things. But I'd like to check in with you and see, how are you doing? How are you doing with your family? How are you navigating these times?
Right now, it's interesting. Thank God, family is healthy. No one is sick. We're all safe. But there's definitely fear. They're a little worried. They don't want to travel. We travel a lot as a family. And like now we're reconsidering those dynamics. So I would say maybe a little fearful and a little sad.
I completely understand. There's a lot that's happening. And when something happens so big and it's all you see around you, a lot of times we do take on other people's energies and they do affect us. It's happened to me, absolutely has happened to me. Do you feel when you're in these moments of fear or unknowing or uncertainty that you have the proper tools to help you through these moments?
Besides pretending no one's looking and screaming, I don't think so. I do take some time alone. I do like to work out. That's kind of my ability to get away. But I wouldn't say I have, things in place right away to kind of shift.
Mm-hmm. And would you like to know more tools that might be beneficial to you, that might help you navigate these moments?
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, when you say tools, you mean?
So there's different things that I've used that have helped me. And let me just tell you a little bit about what I do. I take what's helped me and I share it with others. I give them different options of different tools that I've used so they can play with them and work with them and see if they work for them. But most importantly, I encourage them to find what does work and leave what doesn't. So tools can be things like meditation or sound bowl healings, or speaking through what is happening with someone that knows how to navigate energy so they can get you to the core belief, teach you how to get to that core belief of what is activating that fear so you can shift it, so you can be kinder with yourself, so you can be kinder with that fear so it doesn't have so much control over you. And so I've done this really well within me in my life, and I can show you how to use these tools when these emotions come up for you.
Yeah, well, listen, mental toolbox sounds pretty cool. Just out of curiosity, before we end our call today, like what's our next step exactly?
So if you're interested to work with me, or if you'd like to know more, do you have a pen and paper, something to write with?
I actually do.
Okay, so if you can just write down, I am Ruby Mercado, Mercado.
Okay.
That's my Instagram handle. So if you can just go follow me, there's a link in my bio, and you can email me from there, and we can set up a more in-depth call and see, and I can share with you what services I offer, and we can go from there.
Well, Ruby, I will follow you on social. Mine's at Fernando Valencia. Thank you. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your truth today. And I look forward to checking you out. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. You too, Fernando.
Excellent work, Ruby. How'd that feel?
That felt much better. I felt much like I let go of everything I was thinking before.
Awesome. Well, excellent work. Steve, are you ready for round 2?
Sure.
All right. Take us in.
Fernando, do you want to call me or am I calling you?
You tell me, man. What the haps?
Let's have some fun. You can call me.
All right. Ready? Picking up my Nokia flip phone. Ring, 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 ring.
I can't tell you how much I love that you have a Nokia flip phone. I used to have the brick that no one else had, but we can get into old technology later. So as I mentioned before, we're talking about working with high-level influencers like you. I don't know if you're the right fit for us. I'm not going to try and figure that out now. Is that going to be cool if maybe we have to do another conversation to really see if we're the right fit for each other?
Yeah, man. 3 minutes is tough to do a lot in 3 minutes. So, thank you for that opportunity.
Totally true. Something I noticed, and I want to bring it up, and if I'm stepping over the line, please tell me, but in your language, you talk about being blessed a lot and you thank God a lot. And clearly this is an important part of your life. Can you tell me more about how that might impact who you like to work with or who you don't like to work with?
That's a great question. And I've never viewed it through that prism. I spent a lot of, I was born and raised Catholic. I spent a lot of my, teenage, adolescent, early 20s traveling the world of spirituality, learning a lot. I've currently found a strong faith in Christianity and something that I practice. And if I had to answer directly, I maybe subconsciously, but consciously, I don't even add that into the equation of who I talk to, who I work with.
Just part of who you are, and it goes from there.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you have any idea what we do?
I know you have the word like shoes in your brand, so I'm going to assume pants, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Shoes, all shoes, all the time. So I always like to ask people this weird question. Do your feet feel better at the end of the day than they did at the beginning of the day?
No.
Okay. So the reason why, it's not because of what big shoe has told you. It's basically because your feet or your footwear isn't letting your feet do what's natural, which is bend and flex and move and feel. And if you don't let your feet do that job, then all that function tries moving up to your ankle, your knee, your hip, and back, and causes all sorts of problems. And we make ridiculously comfortable shoes and sandals that let your feet work naturally by bending, flexing, moving, feel, letting your toes spread, etc. So you also mentioned you were working out an athlete. What do you do? Speaking as a competitive sprinter?
Yeah, well, I am definitely not a competitive sprinter. I'm more like a competitive workout in my home in my little gym that I have there. But you sound like you run a lot more. But anything, my feet are not in a lot of pain, but they definitely don't feel better than they did in the beginning of the day.
Have you ever gone to sleep still wearing your shoes because you forgot you had them on, not because you fell asleep drunk?
The answer is no.
And I ask that only because we've had people who've reported that because they're freakishly comfortable. It seems to me like if we're going to do anything, the first step is probably just seeing, what you, if anything, you like and whether they work for you. If you had to pick a shoe or sandal, what would you pick?
Shoe.
Running, walking, hiking, casual?
Go with hiking.
Oh, interesting. Super lightweight or super durable?
Durable.
All right, I'm grabbing something. Hold on. All right. Fully waterproof hiking boot. This is what I'm going to send you. It's a fully waterproof hiking boot, really, really grippy, weighs less than most of the sneakers you have. So would it be cool if I just sent you a pair of those just to see what you think? And if you don't like them, I'm totally cool with that. Because really, again, we're only working with people who love what we're up to. So does it make sense to just send you something to see if you fit in that or don't fit in that category?
Hey, listen, man, I was not expecting a free pair of shoes today. So that's a silly thing to say no to. So I would love to. Thank you, Steve.
I don't recall ever using the word free. I don't remember that was.
I was cross-selling on that one.
So suffice it to say, I've got your handle. If you want to give me an email address, I can send you the info just so we can figure out sizing, and I can point you to figure out what the best color or what color you like, get an address, et cetera. We can get them out to you. And unfortunately, due to USPS, it could take like 4 or 5 days because what they're saying is overnight is no longer. So are you going to be in town next week?
Yes, next week is great, Stephen. I'll make sure I jot that down and I flip it over your way.
Yeah, Stephen,
Cool.
if you could send a pair of those to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, to meet me out there we have a Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership and Lions.
What is going on over here? All these people begging me.
No, I'm buying. We're buying. I never asked for anything for free. I want to buy comfortable shoes, brother. So that sounds great.
know a guy who knows where the truck is parked. He can hook you up.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. So thank you. Excellent. So let us turn to our amazing assessors. So this time, we haven't started any round yet with Kathy. Kathy, what do you have? And let's first go to Ruby.
I thought that was amazing. That was great energy, great conversation. The transition was so smooth, I'm still trying to figure out where exactly it happened. So that was terrific. And I just thought it was a very smooth, congruent presentation. I thought you did a great job. So
awesome. And a score?
I would give it a 9.
Nice. And for Steve. What'd you have for Steve, Kathy? Countdown 35 seconds. Kathy?
Hey, Kathy, I think we might have lost Kathy.
Oh, let's drop in. Let's go.
Nope, I'm right here.
Oh, Kathy, what'd you have was that for Steve or for Ruby?
Yeah, that was for Steve. I'm sorry. I thought we were starting with Steve.
Yep. What'd you have for Ruby?
Ruby, I thought that was much better. I actually thought the first part of that would have been a great first round starting point, but I thought it was really friendly and built rapport really in a great way. I thought that the contact information at the end was kind of clunky. It was like, you got to friend me on my profile and then open up the profile and click the link and da-da-da-da. So I thought that was a little bit clunky and could have been a little bit more elegantly transitioned, and maybe you take more of the responsibility for that. And again, the I statements, the way I do this, sometimes it's helpful to term it in systems. I've created a system that does this. And it allows you to sort through, what works and what doesn't work. And we go through a process. So process and systems versus you is generally, I think, would have been helpful. Awesome. And I would give you an 8.
Excellent. Nita, what did you have for Ruby and Steve?
So for Ruby, much better, of course. More rapport building. That was nice. You could have, you asked permission, would you like to know more? And he was calling you. So I thought that was very valuable, that he was actually showing interest in what you had. I think you could have maybe illustrated something about with how you might do a mini, what a meditation might feel like, or what a navigate energy. One of those you could have fleshed out a little bit more, and you took up the time at the end with the information about how to communicate, which could have been better used. So an 8.
Excellent. And for Steve? Countdown 35 seconds. And what'd you have needed for Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry. Steve, very, very interesting. Lots of laugh, lots of jokes, but very smooth. I love the thing about they were sending you a pair of shoes assumptively. You didn't ask whether he wanted it, whether he wanted to buy it. Yeah, you didn't offer it free, but that was very, very clever. And I also don't know whether you're supposed to have been on a Zoom call or a phone call, because he wouldn't be able to see. So if you were actually on a Zoom call, it's incredible because we can see your shoes, and then you took a pair of shoes and you made it very real. So that went very well, I thought. So 8.5 for you on that.
And how was today for you, Nita?
How was today for me?
Yeah.
I give myself a 9.5.
Kathy, how was
No, I enjoyed judging. This was really fun. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kathy, how about for you? How was today?
Yeah, great. No, what a great experience. I am actually an inbound closer, and so I really love just hearing people talk about what they do.
Very cool. And I will never forget the Hulk Hogan story. That was outstanding. Thank you. And Karen, what do you have for Ruby and Steve?
Okay. Ruby, much better energy. You seemed far more comfortable, much more like Sean was saying, in your body instead of your head. You did establish a rapport at the beginning of your conversation with him. You hearkened back to a comment that he made about rushing on the train. You brought that up, asked if he was okay. So you showed that you had listened previously and that you cared about him. And then as you asked about how things were going with his family, and he shared with you a fear or a pain point, then you validated that and asked if he would be interested in tools you had that might solve that problem for him. So that was really great. He did actually ask you for information more than you offering the information. In this situation, it may be that what you created allowed him to pique interest and inquire for more, but you may want to take a little more charge in the future. For instance, he asked, what tools are you talking about? Then you gave an example of some of those tools. And then later he asked, what is our next step? And so probably the strongest thing in the next step would be you offering what that would be. And, can I get your information and send you additional information? So I think, again, much more smooth, great energy and connection. And so I would give you an 8.5 on that. And then Steve, very smooth. You have a really fun, I don't know, with a guy, you don't really say bubbly, but it was, that kind of an energy. Again, if you were doing a Zoom call, grabbing the shoe and showing, demonstrating the flexibility of your shoe was phenomenal. And then actually grabbing another one to show him, I'm going to send you one like this. That's great. If you were doing just a phone call, then, that's not available. You explained the value of your comfy shoes and bringing in that customer testimonial kind of thing about, yeah, some of our customers have actually gone to sleep with their shoes on. You want to be in that camp. And then at the end, I think you had helped Fernando to feel really comfortable because he was laughing right along with you and happy to receive those free shoes. And you could easily let him know, nope, that's not where we're going. I would give you a 9.
Excellent. And how was today for you, Karen?
It's great. I learned a lot. It's just great to be able to be listening to learn intently.
No, awesome. And I'm going to drop in for 1 second to make a couple of distinctions. So I'll be Ruby. Ring, Fernando, let's go. Fernando? Is Fernando blacked out? Fernando?
He may have vanished.
He may have vanished. All right, Ruby, let's go this way. So, Ruby, hey, thanks for taking the call. Like, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. And thank you so much for, actually, you'll be.
What are we doing?
Yeah, how about this? You are me.
Okay.
Right? And I'm you.
Oh.
Okay. So, hey, Sean, yeah, I had a great time in the Real Raw. Thanks so much for taking the phone call.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Yeah. Hey, so do you have about 3 minutes? I know it sounds like we're on the Real Raw again, but do you have like 3 minutes?
I do. I absolutely do.
So, like, what is it that you're up to in the world? I see all this stuff going on. I know you own a law firm, and you're talking about Unblinded. Like, what is it that you're doing?
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, and spreading.
You're all good, Fernando. Good. I got Ruby. Good.
I'm spreading positivity across the world, sharing my message. Speaking on different platforms, and traveling a lot at the moment. Going hiking soon. Needing some hiking shoes.
Cool. And like, how's all that going?
It's going great. I'm having a lot of fun.
Cool. And why are you doing all this? Like, it seems like things have gone quite well in life, but it seems like you're pretty intense at this point. Like, why are you doing all this?
I feel like I have a mission to help others also do well in life. Like, this is something that it's time to give back and help others create the life that they truly desire.
Yeah. Awesome. And how are you in this? Like, you really, like, how are you?
I am good. I feel good about what I'm doing. There are moments when I feel a little bit overwhelmed. I've taken on a lot. So there's times that I need to learn more, to take a step back and take more time for myself. But yeah, overall pretty good.
Yeah, just want to acknowledge you for stepping up in the world and all that you're doing and the busyness. But I heard a little something there, and I know we only have about a minute and a half to go. But I hear a little bit of overwhelm. Exhaustion. Like, talk to me about that, please.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I have a really big mission, and I have a lot of people that I know I have the ability to help, and I take on a lot, and I take on a lot of speaking engagements and a lot of programs and a lot of Zoom lives, and I still have a family that needs me. Yeah, right.
So would it be okay if I shared a little bit about myself for our last minute to see if it makes sense to talk a little bit more?
Sure.
Yeah. So first, again, I want to acknowledge you for all you're doing in the world and the dynamics of growth, loving having a family and balancing all these things. And, the work that I do in the world is, as I think, it's about energy. And energy can be blocked or it can flow. And our capacity to take things on, especially in the context of interacting with lots of people, you talk about exponentiality, Sean. There's exponential differences in how energy flows. Does that make a little bit of sense?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah. And so the work that I've studied for my life, as you've studied influence, is about that flow of energy. And I am clear that you studied a lot of work. And I'm just wondering if you give me an opportunity, the way you check in on people's influence and create these micro distinctions, what I'd love to do is just a little bit of an examination. If you gave me half an hour of time, I'm very confident I could find some major energy leaks that would, if sealed up and blocks released, would create an exponential difference in how your already amazing journey flows even more exponentially, valuably, and abundantly. Would that be something you'd be interested in giving me a half an hour of your time?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So stop. So Ruby, how did that feel for you?
I'm going to record that and just say what you said.
It is recorded. But is it, let me ask you the question, honestly, is that what you do?
It is absolutely what I do.
Yeah.
It is absolutely what I do, but it was so beautiful to hear you say it with confidence in a coherent way that makes sense.
Yeah. And you're that. So and this is recorded. So beautiful job. And how was today for you, Ruby?
Thank you. It was so fun. So fun. I've learned a lot. I'm really, really grateful. It's interesting to see where I am. It's the first time I've done this. So I'm glad it happened in this way because I've learned so much. And yeah, this was really fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I mean this with all my heart. Like, from where you are, I'm sure you're successful. And just with these micro distinctions, if you're still looking to grow, either in your money, your time, or your impact, there's a beautiful opportunity here. And the world needs your work, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And Steve, how was today for you, brother?
Oh, total blast. I mean, especially walking in, having no clue what I was stepping into.
Yes. Well, that's the most fun. And let me ask you this, like with your shoes, right? What is it exactly that you do? Is it, how do you sell your product, distribute what you do? Like, what do you?
We're at zeroshoes.com. We're about 85% online. We've got a wholesale business as well that, of course, in the US is sort of dried up temporarily. In Europe and Asia is doing very well. But we're on Amazon also, but mostly on our website.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm super in need of a pair of shoes, so I'm going to go grab a pair and check it out. And it sounds awesome. I love the concept of, do your feet feel better at the end of the day than when you started? That is awesome. And mine do not. So thank you for that access. Thank you for being here. So awesome. Fernando, great job today. Steve, Ruby, Nita, Kathy, Karen, thank you. This is episode 90 something. We'll get an accurate count soon of The Real Raw. And you guys have served a demonstration of influence being a superpower, and it's unlocking here. So have a beautiful day. Thank you.